Now we get into UFC 299 final predictions for the main card. Holy smokes. So, dude, I have so much I want to talk to you about because I've been watching everything on the fight build up, the talking. I will say this. The press conference yesterday was pretty terrible. And I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but it was really just, there was nothing to it. Like, there was no smack talk between Sugar and Sean O'Malley and Cheeto Vera. And I thought there was going to be some. They barely talked to, Piotr Jan and Song Yadong. They both learned English, and that was really cool. I love that. I love when fighters
Hey,
take the time to. You can't hear me? You can't hear me? Okay. All right, so Justin's jumping back on, but I want to say I love when you have these fighters that they learn English and then they try and communicate. And I'm not saying they need to, and I'm not saying it's a requirement by any means, but when they do go out of their way and learn English and then try to communicate with native English speakers like myself, I just think it makes the press conference so much more fun. The way that they do the translations, it does kind of put a damper on hearing what they have to say because the translators take time. You have to wait to hear it.
I don't want to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I do want to tell you before.
Tell me.
So every time someone calls me, no one ever
Yeah.
calls me, right?
Yeah.
Well, he just texted me, so that's why I was took a second. One promotion just called me, one is an Asian promotion said, "Hey, I got your contact through Jared Brooks, who I just mentioned, fucking what 3 seconds ago. That's
Yeah.
fucking insane." And he's like, "I'd like to talk to you some more." And I was like, "Oh shit." So
Whoa! So
this
it
could
might
be
be
this could be a good this could be a really big thing. I mean, the irony of it is, what 3 minutes ago I just mentioned Jared Brooks beating Floyd
yes.
Mayweather, and then Fernando from One just says, "Hey, I got your info through Jared Brooks. Hit me
Wow.
up when you have a second." So this could be a good thing.
Wow, you might be having a fight in one championship.
Bop, 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 bop.
Amazing. Oh, wait. I can't hear you again. Did something happen? All right, shoot. You might have to jump back on and jump back, or jump off and jump back on. Okay, so Justin's gonna rejoin us. So, anyways, that it was a really cool press conference. So I want to jump in right off the bat, and I want to talk about this Piotr Young versus Song Yadong fight, which is an amazing fight. Um, Yeah, and we got Western Mass Climber. Yeah. Justin going to Japan. Heck yeah, that'd be so fun. I gotta go. If he's gonna go, I gotta go. I gotta go. Let me tell Justin. So yeah, Western Mass Climber's like, oh, you're going to Japan. I was like, yo, if you're going, I gotta go. That'd
Oh,
be
you're
so.
going for sure, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm
I
coming.
have to go.
I'll give you my corner pass. Come on, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh my god, that'd be sick. All right. So, anyways, let's talk about this first fight. Song, dude, this is a banger of a card. Like this card is so insane. People don't realize Piotr Jan versus Song Yadong on the first fight of the main event. So, for those of you guys who don't know, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Piotr Jan, the former champion of the bantamweight division. So here, Piotr Jan is coming back and he's fighting Song Yadong. But for those of you guys who aren't familiar with Song Yadong, he trains with Team Alpha Male. Probably know who Team Alpha Male is, but he's a pretty amazing fighter. He just his last fight he won against Chris Gutierrez. It was a unanimous decision. The only loss that his most recent loss, he's gone 5-1 for his last 6 fights. He lost to Corey Sandhagen, but that was a doctor stoppage. Okay. And every other fight he's won, Ricky Simone, Marlon Moraes, big name. Some of these other names maybe not as known, but he's a beast. He's a beast, and he's brimming with confidence. He's just I love that confidence. That always I know maybe I make too much of it because I'm really into the psychological game, but I'm really interested to see this fight. And hey, both fighters are incredible. Justin, do you have a thought on who you favor in this matchup, Song Yadong versus Piotr Jan?
Being a Peter Yan fan, like, dude, we went from the top of the top, and then just, starts losing fights, and just, it's crazy because you get certain fighters that it's like, man, this. I'll be honest, like with Conor McGregor on his uprise, with Sean O'Malley on his uprise, it's like these guys have all these hype, but they keep getting fed cans. They keep getting fed cans. Then you got Peter Yan, who's taking on the toughest guys in the world and winning, and then loses a decision to Sean O'Malley. He loses, a couple fights in a row, man, and it's hard not to support my guy Peter, dude, because he's such an awesome and dynamic fighter. Aljamain Sterling, the knee. Ever since that he hit Aljo with the knee, it's just unfortunately been downhill for Peter Yan. So when we talk about the mentality of a fighter,
Yeah.
it's when you start losing and fighting. And again, guys, I'm speaking from experience. I'm not some idiot podcaster out here that's trying to tell fighters how to feel without ever being in that situation. I'm speaking from experience. When you start losing, especially at the high level, losing becomes easier and easier and easier, man. And I'm
Mm.
not really sure where Peter Yan's head's at right now. This is an incredible opportunity for Song Yudong. Um, Man, my heart wants Peter Yan to get back on the winning track. This guy's a fucking savage killer. But my pocketbook says Song Yadong.
So, in just to remind you guys, when one of Piotr Jan's recent losses was to Sean O'Malley, and remember, a lot of people thought he beat Sean O'Malley. Regardless of what the outcome was, it was a very close fight. So it wasn't a bad loss by any means. They went the distance. He looked great in the fight. So just bear that in mind. And then he fought Marab. Marab is just, I think we're all recognizing now, like Marab is an animal. His cardio is just, he weaponizes it so brilliantly. So I mean, like, what are you gonna do? And then he lost to the champ, Aljo, right? So he's still right there, right in the mix. Now, Song Yadong, just one interesting fact. Did you know he's only 26?
Jeez, man, so young. These up this
Oh
this
yeah.
class of up and coming guys are just so young and so good, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Song Yadong as well. That's my pick. We got to keep score, and I know we keep saying that, so I'm gonna put together the scoreboard this weekend, and then we're gonna start keeping track.
We'll
But
just do the main card. We won't even do the undercard, just the main fights.
yeah, just the main card. So I think we're in agreement there. So it's a bit of a wash. But now we go to a really, really sick fight: Gilbert Burns versus Jack Maddalena. Now, before we jump in, because we've talked about this, and I'm really kind of leaning towards Gilbert Burns, but I want to show you something because I know you say not to pay too much attention to the weigh-ins, but let me show you something. Okay. And guys, give us your thoughts in the comment section as well on this weigh-in, because I was watching this before we started. So well, we're gonna go ahead. Piotr Jan, he looked pretty good. By the way, side note, why does anybody ever try to make like 135 when you can make 136 and still qualify? I don't get that. But anyways, okay, I want you to look at Gilbert Burns because he did not look good to me here.
171, the official weight for Gilbert Durinho Burns.
Okay, so he looks super sucked. Now, again, I'm not the expert. I just want to bring this to your attention. He looks super sucked into me. He did make 171 instead of 170, but he has that allowance. He has the 1 pound allowance. Does that tell you anything, or is that a non? That doesn't even enter your mind in terms of the calculus of like predicting the fight?
Nah, not really. I mean, now if he got up on stage and was like stumbling from dehydration, if he was dizzy, sure. But honestly, man, when you're at the apex, like he's already like, yeah. I mean, I guess, but everybody has a hard weight cut, man, at the high level, man. Like I remember when I made 145 the first time, dude, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. I was crying during the weight cut. I couldn't sweat. Like it's just a mental fuck. It's the fight before the fight, man. It's actually a harder fight than the original, than the actual fight.
That's
Gilbert
what I've heard.
Burns has fought in the UFC 20 times. He's made weight almost every time, if not every time. I'm not going to say he hasn't if he hasn't. So he's probably made weight every time. He's been through this. He knows the feeling. He knows the process. And not to mention, as soon as you step on the scale and then you step off the scale, they have a hydrationist. I don't know if that's the right term, but hydrationist and nutritionist there. All right, hey, drink this water. You have to drink this over for the next 5 minutes. All right, hey, once you're done with that, now drink this. Now drink this. Now eat this. So his recovery is being put together by nutritionists, hydrationists, doctors. Like he's gonna be fine. The weight cut, like I said, he didn't even have to be nude for the weight cut. So that tells you
That's
something, man.
true. That's true. You're right. Okay, we're going to talk about that because somebody did later in the show. I'm going to show you guys, or later in the weigh-ins. I'm going to show you guys that later. But last thing I want to say on this fight, I'm actually still, regardless of looking at the weight cut and everything, I'm still picking Gilbert Burns here. Curious to get your thoughts. One of the reasons why he talked about it in one of the interviews. So what he says is he's like, and he wasn't even trying to talk smack, but he's like, if I was Jack Maddalena, okay, he's like, he's taken a big step up. Instead, normally he's like, what I would do is go step by step. Hey, a little harder, little harder, little harder. But he's like, he's jumping right into the mix, jumping to the top of the division. And he said it very matter of factly. That to me told me that Gilbert Burns feels like he outmatches Jack Maddalena at this point, in his mind, at least, anyways. What are your thoughts on that? On sort of me reading into that, or am I over reading into that? And then I want to get your final prediction as well.
No, you're absolutely right, man. I mean, Gilbert Burns has fought the who's who. He's fought the best in the division. He's fought for the championship. He's fought Hamzat, on short notice. fought Usman, or who was the last guy he fought that it was a short, was it Usman?
No, it
Uh,
was what's his name? Bilal, but he lost.
Bilal, yeah, he fought Bilal, he lost. He's fighting the best fighters in the world. Some people, say Bilal's the best, the guy that hasn't had a championship fight yet. Fought him on short notice, still went to decision. Gilbert Burns is a different kind of animal, man. His skill set, I mean, I've trained with him, dude. The guy is a fucking savage. He's one of the best grappling MMA fighters I've ever had the privilege of training with. Jack, on the other hand, he's up and coming. He's red hot. But Gilbert Burns can put that flame out really quick, man. I mean, look at the Hamzat fight, man. What an incredible fight. Hamzat, I felt had the significant size advantage. And Gilbert, when he even said, in the hallways, like, oh, bro, you small, you small. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Gilbert fucking came out like the Tasmanian devil and, a small guy and just fucking put an ass whooping. Or put an ass whooping on Hamzat worse than anybody ever has. I know he lost ultimately, and I did think he lost that fight. But still, just because you lose doesn't mean you didn't whip somebody's ass, man. He got his ass whipped. He whipped Hamzat's ass. I think Jack is taking a huge step up in competition. Hey, risk reward. I mean, he's supposed to lose this fight. So we talk about risk reward. He has almost no risk. He's going to be a big underdog, I think, in this fight. And if
I'm
he beats
sure.
him, he's going to be put right into the top 5. So I think this is a ballsy and great move for Jack Madalena.
Yeah. And also, I was just looking back at his record. Hold on, I'm looking up the odds right now. I was just looking back at Jack's record. The last victory was a split decision against Kevin Holland. I love Kevin Holland, by the way, but he's a bit he's less multi-dimensional. Let me put it that way than a fighter like Gilbert Burns. So I don't know how that weighs into the calculus again of what's going to happen. But I do think that I'm in agreement with you. Gilbert Burns, the only concern is I'm just hoping whatever was wrong with his arm last time if you remember, when he fought Bilal, he was basically fighting with one arm, which was insane and amazing that he still finished that fight. But yeah, just hoping whatever happened there worked out. And wait a minute, what? To win outright, Burns is a plus 130. Okay,
Stack up. Time to stack up.
yeah. Yeah, holy smokes. I wish I could put money on this fight, but all right, there we go. So those are the odds. Those are our thoughts. I think we're both in agreement, Gilbert Burns. Now we move on to Kevin Holland, who Kevin Holland did take the loss. All right, you're going to jump off again. So Kevin Holland did have that last loss against Jack Madalena, but now he's back against Michael Venom Page. So this is a pretty interesting fight. In the presser, if you listen to Kevin Holland, what does he say? He's like, yeah, Michael Venom Page, he's a great fighter in Bellator. But he's like, there's a reason why people pay to watch UFC fights and not Bellator fights. So he's basically talking about the level of competition and the difference in the level of competition between the UFC and Bellator. He's feeling strongly that he's going to beat Michael Venom Page. I got to say, I'm actually in agreement. I do think that Kevin Holland is going to have a substantial advantage against Michael Venom Page. Before we jump in to why, I'm going to give you my reason as to why I'm definitely very much picking Kevin Holland in this fight to beat Michael Venom Page. But before we do that, I want to turn it over to you, Justin. You've talked a lot about PFL, Bellator, and the UFC. And I know you've said in the past that you feel like the way that people say that, hey, UFC is so superior in terms of the fighting skill and ability of the fighters compared to other organizations. I don't think you always agree with that. So I want to watch some highlights of Michael Venom Page in Bellator and really look closely at his opponents because he pulls off amazing things, but I'm not sure the competition is the same. But before we even look at that, this Bellator versus UFC matchup, which essentially this is, do you feel like Michael Venom Page, despite his record, is really outmatched because Kevin Holland has been facing that much tougher competition, or do you feel like that's overhype?
It's tough to say because Michael Page is a superstar athlete, man. He jumps, he spins, he's long, he has great distance. I mean, this fight is his first true fight. Now, what I feel Michael Page was doing in Bellator and what Bellator was doing for him is taking his athleticism and running with it. And what I mean by that is they were building a star. They were setting him in situations to where he could get these great highlight reel knockouts, flying knees, spinning back kicks, like you look at some of it, like when he fought Cyborg. I'm trying to think what his name is. Is it Cyborg? It's regardless. I mean, super tough guy, but he's old, man. He's kind of washed up. Where he hit him in the knee, he hit the flying knee and broke his skull. And his other
Mhm.
opponents. I mean, who else has he fought? The only other notable fighter that I feel he's fought is Mike Perry and Mike in bare knuckle, and Mike
Oh yeah.
Perry, took it to him. So again, I feel that he was groomed because of his athleticism, and I think he's in a real fight against Kevin Holland. I do give the advantage to Kevin Holland because he's been in the dirt. See, that's the thing, man. When you're a front runner in MMA, and you're winning and winning, like winning is like, fuck, this is great, man. I'm fucking cruising, knocking everybody out. This is fucking great. Well, now you have somebody that has been beaten up a couple times and doesn't get put away like Kevin Holland. Again, taking on these tougher fights, he's been hit harder. He's been, he's fought more precise strikers. He's fought better grapplers. He's fought better wrestlers. He's fought better fighters overall. Now, that's not to knock on Michael Page's skill set. Maybe when he comes out here, he's going to stun the world and finally have a real test and capitalize on it. That'd be great. But again, Kevin Holland, I think, is going to be too tough. I think he's been around long enough. He doesn't talk like he used to. Early on in his career, he's a big talker in the cage. I think he's matured as a person. He's matured as a fighter. And I think he's going to be a great guy to welcome Michael Venom Page into the UFC.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be a really fun fight. I want to show you some of these highlights. So I just pulled them up for everybody. We're just going to watch a little bit of this clip. But, he does pull off some amazing wins and he has some amazing highlights. But to me, it just doesn't seem like the same level of caliber in terms of his opponents. But you be the judge. You're better than me here.
Okay, pause. Who's that guy? Oh, that's who's that guy?
Okay, let me see. That's not Michael Chandler, is it? Hold on. No. Okay, let's see.
The point I'm trying to make is you don't know, I don't know who's the guy.
Yeah,
that's the point. Now you do a Kevin Holland highlight. You're gonna know every guy he's fought.
Exactly. Okay, now let's take a look at some of these other ones. I mean, he's got great showmanship.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what? I don't. Okay, I know I'm being a little judgmental, but what's up with that guy? Was coming in like slow motion. Okay, here let's watch a little more. Can you tell much from this? Does that look like what did you think of that?
I mean, he landed one long overhand shot. I mean, it's again, now a lot of times, now this is a theory, and I was talking, and I'm not going to say any promotions directly, but I will say some promotions have an A list and a B list. Michael Page is an A-list fighter, so they match him up against one of the B-list guys. They bring these guys in to get highlighted. They pay him a great amount of money to make it worth their while. But look at this guy. And that's a decision. He won decision there. The guy looked like a sloppy mess. Look at this guy's afraid. What? What is that?
See, this is what I was feeling. Okay, so I'm feeling vindicated right now because I was watching these highlights the other day, and I'm like, this doesn't look right. This doesn't look the same. He's getting these great knockouts, but and the other reason why I wanted to do that was because Kevin Holland said that. He's like, look at the timing and the footwork of the opponents that he was knocking out. Now you come against somebody here, that stuff's not going to work. He said something like that. So I just feel like if I was in a state where you could bet on these fights, I would just put the house on Kevin Holland. I just really think.
What are the odds?
Let me look right now. I'll double check. It's gonna be a fun fight, though, I gotta say. But
I can't wait. And he's so dynamic, and Page is gonna come out and do some crazy shit if he catches Holland. I mean, he's gonna sleep.
Yeah, it's minus 140 Kevin Holland, so it's a slight favorite, not a major favorite. I don't know. I think I'm
gonna parlay Burns and Holland together.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, that's a pretty solid parlay. That's pretty solid. Okay, amazing fights. These are just two fights into the main card. Now we get to look at this fight. Oh no, that was 3 fights in. Look at this fight. This is insane. Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis. Now, before we talk about this again, I want to show you the weigh-in because Benoit Saint Denis did not look good on the weigh-in, and there's something else that I wanted to talk to you about as well in this fight that's very interesting. There's a rumor going around. There's a rumor going around about Benoit Saint Denis and a potential staph infection. So I want to talk to you about that too, because I don't know if it's true, but I want to know how it might impact the fight. People are saying it might impact his cardio. Okay, so look, we're gonna fast forward up to here's Dustin Poirier clearly wasn't worried about making weight with those big sunglasses. Okay, look, here's Benoit Saint Denis. So check this out. All right, so look, so you notice there's a cut on his forehead. That's where people are saying the staph infection occurred, which is on the other side. You could see it when he was walking up. The other reason why people are concerned is that he was wearing a hat at the presser, theoretically to cover up that cut, maybe because it was a staph infection. But anyways, here, check this out. I don't know, man. He did weigh in at I think he weighed in at 156. I can't remember. I don't know. He doesn't look. Does that look normal to you, or am I making a mountain out of a molehill here?
I think you're digging. I think you're digging and picking for scraps here, man. I think he looks great. I I understand that and honestly, sometimes your analysis of a weigh-in can be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just, dude, they have such great nutritionists on staff that are gonna, even if he did feel like shit, he doesn't look that bad. And they're gonna make sure that they're gonna do the best of their ability to make sure he's ready for tomorrow, man. This guy's a killer. And me being a Dustin Poirier fan, again, man, dude, it's so sad because every week we watch our guys that we've been growing up with in the sport for the last several years. You look at like Conor McGregor, you look at Habib, you look at fucking Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Volkanovski, man. Unfortunately, these guys' time is coming to an end really soon. So, my heart says Poirier, but my pocketbook says Saint Denis, man. It fucking really sucks, man. I hate these guys going out on their shield like this. But Dustin's recovering from a nasty knockout from Gaethje last.
Right.
Benoit's a finisher. Fuck, man. I want Poirier to win so bad, but Saint Denis is a fucking animal. He hasn't, and his brain is fresh, man. He hasn't been knocked out. He doesn't have that worry in his mind yet. And Dustin Poirier may. So we'll see what happens.
All right. So are you going with Benoit?
I'm going with Benoit here.
Normally I would pick Dustin Poirier because I do pick with the guy that I really like, and I love Dustin Poirier. He's one of my favorite fighters. Yeah, although Dustin Poirier's confidence does seem high, but I think I'm gonna try and start being more smart too about my picks. I'm gonna go with BSD2. Makes it less exciting because I think we're aligned on all our picks so far. But I just feel like I agree with you too strongly. Okay, now we're gonna go to the main event. Couple things I want to talk to you about on this main event. So number one, you talk about the weigh-in, right? You talk about, hey, you didn't have to strip down. Marlon Vera did have to strip down. He made the weight and he cheered so loudly when here, I'm going to show you so you guys can see what happened.
Keep in mind, he has to make the official weight. He does not.
He does. That's true. That's true. Championship, you have to make championship weight. But look at this. So this is what happened.
That your UFC bantamweight.
Oh, wait, hold on. So here it is.
135. 135.
I mean, so he's so excited. He's elated. That it must have been a really bad, like I imagine a really bad weight cut, a really tough weight cut. So he's elated. He made it. Now, on top of this, there's something else. Aljo went on a podcast and said that he heard through the grapevine that Chito Vera had a bad camp, meaning he was getting beat up. He was whatever. It was a rough camp. They asked Chito about it, and Chito was not happy that Aljo said that, and he said some not nice things about Aljo, but he didn't deny it. He was like, "Yeah, I had a rough camp, big deal." He's like, "I made it through," and if he thinks that's gonna help him out, he's sorely mistaken. Blah blah blah. Does this? I know we were kind of already favoring Sean O'Malley. What do you make of this? What do you make of the fact that basically he did have a bad camp and he did have a tough weight cut?
Some people can use that as fire, though. I got my ass whipped every day for this moment. I got my fucking in the tub for this moment. Take all that negative energy, all those beatings he took in practice, all those times that he had to tap out, all that fuck, man, like all that weight cut. A lot of guys can harness that and be like, for me, for instance, when I'm training, dude, I get beat up every fucking day, whether I'm sparring, whether I'm wrestling or grappling. That's why I stay at Extreme Couture because I have guys. If you're a front run, if you have a great camp, nobody ever has a great camp. I mean, camp fucking sucks. You're getting punched in the face, you're getting hurt, you're sore, you fucking have to do all this extra work. Like, so when people say, oh, was it a good camp or a bad camp, dude, they all fucking suck. And anybody that says otherwise, I mean, some are better than others, and that's what I guess is a good camp, But at the end of the day, Cheeto's a mentally tough dude. But looking at the odds this morning, I saw a knockout by Sean O'Malley at plus 180.
Whew.
I mean, what is Sean going to submit him? No. Is he going to take him down? No. He's either going to win by a decision or he's going to knock him out. I think the positive line is Sean O'Malley by knockout here.
Yeah, this is crazy. And also what's very interesting about that prediction is Cheeto's never been knocked out. He's never been finished. So that's wild. And I think Sean is hoping to pull off that knockout. And the odds right now, wow. Sean O'Malley to straight win, he's minus 280. That's crazy. That's a big, I don't know about that.
So
But that's
so with that line, again, I think Sean's going to win. Obviously, he's a huge favorite. He's almost a 3-1 favorite on the line, but the money is with Marlon because I mean, if it's at plus 280, it's probably like plus 240 for Marlon Vera,
plus 230.
and like plus 230. Like Dude, there's some money to be made there. 500 bucks on a $200 bet. We're talking about a guy that has already beat him, and people are like, oh well, he was injured when he beat him. I don't give a fuck. Like he. It's hard to fight somebody as gritty as Marlon Vera, and he's tough. He's going to be in great shape. He's never been finished. I think the my pocketbook goes with Marlon Vera, but I think Sean O'Malley is going to win this fight.
Yeah,
If I mean, if does that is that like an oxymoron? Like my
no.
pocketbook says Marlon, but I think Sean O'Malley's going to. Does that make sense when I
Yeah,
say
it makes
that?
sense because you think the odds are misaligned. So yeah, like you do think he's favored, but there's always a chance that anybody can win. So no, I get it. I get it. You're saying the
Now, if
money.
now if it was like if he was like plus 150, I would take Sean O'Malley all day. But to bet 300, almost $300 to win 100 on Sean O'Malley isn't worth it when I can bet 200 on fuck. I mean, Sean O'Malley, Cheeto's probably going to chop off that front leg, man. He's going to chop his legs up like he did the first time. If he gets the fight to the ground, I mean, I think that Sean is going to be a fish out of water. So at plus 230, plus 240, and I bet by fight time it'll be even a little bit more. I think the value's there to win.